Hello, we are finally here. Live and at all. Morning, 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 evening, evening, evening. What a great day to go racing. Oh well, when we finally actually go racing at some point. In not that long, I would assume, as we are getting ready for the 5th and final round of the SSRI GT3 Tier 2 season, what, like 6 championship? Oh, it's been so long already. Still remember season 1, way back when. Ah, good old times, good old times. But it is time to crown a champion. Probably, or well, 3 champions actually. Both the rookies, the AIMs, and the Silvers needs a new champion, and they will all be crowned today. Interesting to try and follow it. Try and follow the standings series in the Silvers. Luke Wilson lead by quite a lot. He will probably be mathematic champion after just the first of the 2 races tonight, as there are 25 points up for grabs in both races. So yeah, if he doesn't smash fuck the car into a wall, then he will be silver champion after the first of this evening's races. Chris Haas in a good secure second, also with a good gap down to Mr. Phil Barati in third. And from there, a good gap down to Nick Kleefeld and Jesse Van Dryle following up there in 4th and 5th. Somewhat interesting that Alexander Bogaris is so far up the standings after having missed the first doubleheader last time when we did Red Bull Ring in round 2. Craighill, of course, in between them in 6th. Not with that much of a story to him. Daniel Hommel and Bart Swearing follow up in 8th and 9th, and Patrick Blisters rounds out the top 10 for the silver class. In the AM category, Michael DeGore leads the championship, but with only 4 points down to Glenn Finema. This could be a very, very tense season finale for these two. It's probably going to be down to one of these two to get the championship between them, as Vladimir in third are quite a bit behind. Ian van der Linden in fourth, Kieran Morfield in fifth, Denise Pope in sixth. I don't think that we'll be seeing Denise tonight, unfortunately, as she'll be dropping way down the championship standings after missing this doubleheader and missing Spa last time out. Mark DeMonk followed by Pete Hart, Steve Parker, Michael Husinga, and Peter Brooklyn rounds out the top 10 for the AM drivers. In the brand new rookie class, or the almost Swiss Cup, it's led by Sil Waymans. He only have a 1-point lead down to Max Spooner in second. Behind these two, it's David Gallant, who also is still in with quite the chance of snatching this this championship. He just needs a very good end here on Indianapolis. Moritz Ritterbusch in fourth there. Now we're getting into the very less likely champions. Actually, Moritz Ritterbusch are the first one who's mathematically out of contention for it. He could potentially finish second if he wins both races and all the drivers above basically retire. Clemens Kroll only missing 1 race so far in the rookie category in fifth. DeBarros in sixth. Tom Ferris in seventh. I don't think that he's unfortunately making this race tonight. I think he's signed out due to vacation, or was it his birthday? Maybe. I actually can't remember. I should probably have looked this up before we started. Lars Gottman in eighth, and Sven Maria in ninth. And that's the rookie class for you there. Yeah, we went through all of them, but there are less than 10 drivers in that championship. A good addition to the SSRI grid, the rookie class. As this means that the lower end of what used to be AM, they get to fight it out between each other for positions there. Which also means that there are the 3 championships in Tier 2. We're not that long away from qualifying here for the final time this season. Quite a few good cars out there. I think a track guide is coming up rather shortly. Here we go into to turn 1. We go down the long front straight of Indianapolis. Turn 1 very important, getting it set up correctly, as you need to open up turn 2 as much as possible. Super good out of that, so overtakes are definitely possible into turn 1. Around turn 3 we go now, the right-hander that leads into turn 4. Opening up the corner once again, using all of the track to use as little brake as possible into 3. Before full throttling it through 4. And into the first of the hairpins around this track. Very difficult corner. You'll have to come out. Some drivers only go to the middle of the track before turning in. Some stays to the left hand side. Some double apexes. Some just hooks the inside. It's up to the drivers what they want to do before this critical exit onto the back straight, the Andretti straight, as I believe it was called. It is now, at least. The back straight leading into yet another reasonable overtaking opportunity, this left-hander, but be careful with the curb. Taking too much of that and you will be thrown off the track, as your car will get very unstable on that one. The right left-handers only a little little dab of the brakes through them, but you have to be careful not to get this particular corner too tight, as this leads on to yet another reasonable overtake as we head onto the oval for the second time during the lap. There will be a short trip to the oval as we are braking very quickly into the right-hand corner that starts sector 3. Very sharp, and we are back to the start-finish straight. So if you want to, you can just skip that corner and take the oval, apparently. Nevertheless, we are very close to qualifying at least, but yes. As we are getting it ready. It's a little bit of standings up on the left-hand side, but that's just a byproduct of us getting ready for the qualifying. Glenn Finnerman out onto the track. As I'm actually just trying to get the things up and running, so I can see what YouTube is saying as well, and trying to remember not to commentate out of looking on YouTube, so I'll shut that down. And just have the YouTube chat up in the corner of my screen so I can follow a little bit along. I haven't started the timing app yet, but I think I can get that sorted as well. Maybe. Though only 24 cars this evening. Same numbers as for the tier 1s, I believe it was. We're about the same amount entered the final round. A little bit of a drop off through the championship season, but again we have seen much better weather outside that keeps people outside. Myself included almost today, as I was out running and ran into someone I knew, and obviously then we had to stop and talk, and I almost missed qualifying for this great final time this season. Following Cohen Geens around through the two corners we didn't get on the track map, the penultimate and the final cover. Is no, they just restarted, Chris. For no reasons. Nevertheless, onto the start-finish straight for Cohen Geens, starting his first flying lap in the DDS Racing McLaren. I think it was DDS right behind him as well. They might be in some sort of a voice chat, trying to get everything sorted. Okay, so I can't connect. Maybe it's because I haven't logged into the server yet that I can't actually access that. It's not that surprising that issues come, but it is what it is. Boom. Oh, now I can see. Now I can see stuff. Just need to get the few final bits and pieces sorted before I'm all set with you guys out there watching, maybe for the first time. Who knows? If you're watching for the first time, welcome to the channel. And what are you doing just watching? You definitely need to get involved in the actual racing. But more on that later on the broadcast. Cohen Geens, I thought that he was one of the first ones to start a lap, but apparently not. Pascal Vita have provisionally gone pole, with Jesse Van Driel second level. Still no Luke Wilson on the server, it looks like. Oh no, he is on the server, just in the pits once again, probably eating dinner and only getting the one-shot qualifying done as well as he did last time. Though that didn't hinder him too much. Tim Neubauer following around in 8th at the minute. He is potentially improving his lap time as he's coming through the S's in the middle of the track. A Sim Racing Holland car there doing a good job of getting out of the way for him to to continue the lap of Tim Neibauer. Just trying to get things going. Last braking zone there for Neibauer and the one of the two lone Audis in the season. Onto the final corner he goes. You don't brake for this one, just full throttle around it before going on to the oval of Indianapolis. Well, the start-finish part of the oval on the Indianapolis, which of course is the opposite way of the IndyCars drive it. If you watched it here on Sunday, obviously the long wait might have meant that many Europeans probably didn't watch the actual race. Glenn Finnemer currently improving by 0.4 seconds with only one braking zone to go, though it is a critical one where it can be won or lost going through there, but I actually think that he wants a little bit of time. Improving through the final corner he goes. This could be new provisional pole, dropping below the 36 lap times, I do believe. 35.8 there for Glenn Finnemer, snatching provisional pole position, which would also be great to see. We haven't seen a... what would that be? That would be an AM drive all the way up there since race 1 of the season. Jesse Van Drijl here in second, also improving his lap time, but in third, as Bulgaris have also jumped up there in up on Shures. I mean, have always jumped up there in current second. But traffic up ahead for Van Drijl. I think that is that's Chris Haas in his Audi up ahead. Oh, is it Neibauer? It could be Neibauer as well, but it does give him a little bit of a toe onto the start-finish line off Rorset. Good improvement there. It was Neibauer ahead, but of course he doesn't have to move out of the way if he is on a hot lap as well. Giovanni Filbaratti through the final or penultimate corner, I should say, coming into the final corner now. Mr. Filbaratti looks to improve by quite a bit, close to a provisional pole. It looks like could be provisional pole. Actually, no, just off by 12 thousandths of a second when he came across the line there. Very tight for Mr. Filbaratti. Bonjours also improving his lap time. With just the 2 corners to go, still improving in the Aston Martin, the very French-looking Aston Martin, livery design-wise. Across the line he went up into third. Sneaks in behind Filbaratti and ahead of Jesse Van Drijl at the minute. He might be trying to look for pole position. Bulgaris will, as he still needs that to round up the championship. And the first winner, of course, is only Luke Wilson have won the what was I about to say? The silver class so far this season. Pascal Vida following across the start-finish line. Across the start-finish line. In 6th now. Discord is doing some weird stuff for me. It's one of those evenings, apparently. Just give me a second. I don't know why Discord have decided to be strange. Now I can see a little bit again. Pascal Vida, nevertheless, in 6th position. One of the drivers with the most lap under his belt so far in this practice session, or well, in this qualifying. No one's done more laps than him, but a few unequal, of course, as they all went out early on in the session. Luke Wilson have set his first lap, but only good enough for 4th. Could this be the first time this season that Luke Wilson will fall down from the top? Or does he have what it takes to find it later on? in this qualifying session. It will be difficult for him to pull off a famous double win. Well, actually, it was Phil Baracci who won the second race at the Red Bull Ring, so Luke Wilson's the only one who have won in the silver class, but the only one who have won a race after qualifying for not having the reverse grid. Luke Wilson, as he moves up into third, only 15 thousandths of a second there behind Glenn Finnemer, as it's getting really tight in the top three. Less than a tenth separates our top three drivers at the minute. As Vladimir haven't had the greatest of qualifying sessions so far, only up into to 15th at this stage of it. He is improving though, coming through the penultimate corner. Does take a little bit too much of the inside there of the corner, but still improves his provisional best. He might have been in traffic so far. Oh, had issues cutting that grass on the outside of the final corner. Up into 8th, into a more usual place for him on the grid. Fan club for 454 requesting more coverage. Who is 54? That's David Gallant. Let's see if we can find him on the track for you. Here he is, the Canadian driver in the McLaren. Outside chance still for good results in the championship, or well, for a good result in the championship. Currently the third placed rookie drive, I believe we found out before this race started. It almost seems like it's been so long before we had a look on these stats, but I do believe, yes, in third place. But I think it's about 8 points for David Gillen up to Waymans in first, and 7 up to Max Spooner in second of the rookie class. So he's a little bit on a mission to get up there, though he is currently ahead of Craig Hill. Of course, the first time we had the reverse grid race wasn't the best of evenings for Mr. Gallant, but we'll see what he can do this time around. Craig Hill of the back Marker Motorsports. We are usually used to see him a bit further up the grid, but if this is what he can do on Indianapolis, he will just have to start from near the back, basically, as that's how racing goes. And apparently David Gallant drives better here than he does in real life. That's just some fun facts for all of you out there. If you ever see David Gallant on the road, just jump for your lives, apparently. Not safe to be around. Nevertheless, qualifying a halfway over, more than halfway over, we should say, for only 7 minutes remaining. So we are getting into to crunch time now. And with only 3 rookie drivers showing up so far this evening, it could be could potentially be difficult for Gallant actually to do something in the championship. But he just needs to win out the 2 races in the category, and he could potentially still have it in him. He still can't decide it himself. He will need Waymans and Spooner to swap positions in the 2 races, but if Gallant wins both of them, and Waymans and Spooner, they both get a second and a third this evening, then I do think that Gallant will actually take the championship, if my quick calculations are correct. Yeah, he will, because if he wins both races, then he will just tie it with Waymans if he finishes second for both, and then it will come down to wins. And if Gallant wins both races, then he will have the tiebreaker for wins also, which is quite interesting. But yeah, Patrick Blisters in 11th position, improving his best lap so far by quite a margin, actually. This could thrust him way up there if he continues at this pace to the out to just the edge of top 5. It looks like maybe he could even get within a little bit of a drop off there, the very final corner onto the start finish line, checking the narrow line onto it and just up to 6th, just outside of the top 5 as predicted. Patrick Blisters gets it in there into 6th, being second place of the Lamborghini so far this evening of qualifying, with just 5 minutes remaining. Bonjours in 4th. First driver not to be within 15 thousandths of a second of Glenn Finema, not Finn Glenema, but Glenn Finema. Just the 3/10 behind for Mr. Bonjours as he comes on to start yet another flying lap. He is currently on a flying lap, but not improving across the line. He goes to start his 7th lap of this qualifying session, as he is going once again 4 minutes remaining. It's getting into the crunch time now for the drivers. Not that many attempts left of this session. When we reach about what would that be? 3:11 on the clock, then the drivers will only have 2 shots remaining. But yeah, I think Bonjours is on for a good of a first sector here. Passes Luke Wilson, who's come out of the pits to try a final time for him when he gets around. A final 2 times for him when he gets around. Bonjours still on the edge of improving. Remember, it's only 3/10 he needs to get up there with Finema, Phil Baracci and Luke Wilson super tight qualifying so far. Finema having been in the pits for quite a while at this point. I wonder if something's wrong with this car or setup, as he should be going on to go for another lap soon. Bonjours right on the edge of improvement, but it won't be enough to get him within the top 3, and did improve this time around. Luke Wilson right behind him have just started a flying lap as well. Luke in 3rd position currently in qualifying. That could be a thing. Michael DeGauray, even though he's all the way down in 20th at the minute, he's currently 4th in the silver class. Oh, no, sorry, 4th in the AM class. It's a little bit confusing with the silver color on the side of the screen, but hey, what is it? It doesn't seem to be Mr. DeGauray's day or Michael DeGauray's day, but it is very close here in the 2nd tier so far. Just 1 second-ish separates the first 18 drivers on the grid at this current stage, which means that if it stays this close, it will be very difficult for race 2 to get the overtakes done for the drivers. We'll try and go up through the field. Haas in 7th, improving by a good amount at the minute. If he keeps this tempo up, he potentially could get into around pole position, but there he just drops about 2/10, getting a wheel onto the grass literally by millimeters for Chris Haas there, but that's enough to upset these GT3 cars. Just sniffing the grass will lose you time. So he will go once again. I don't think Finema is coming out of the pits for some reason. He will not have time at this point to start another lap. Way not enough time to start his final lap. Basically everyone in the pits, they have forfeited. Pascal Vida goes fastest of all in the Lamborghini. This could be the first pole of Pascal Vida this season. Stunning lap there. Luke Wilson have returned to the pit, so he will not be starting from pole. He will have to do some overtaking in the race. Frank Hub in the BMW in 12th position. Was just quickly flashing green, but there he also parks it in the gravel. Not enough time for him to get another lap in. Tim Neubauer close to improvement at the minute. Only him, Hummels, and Van der Rijl are still out there in the top 10. Both Neubauer and Hummel are improving at the minute, roughly both with about 0.2 of a second. As Van der Rijl also comes across the line, doesn't improve, but Neubauer and Hummel in 10th and 13th still with a potential shot of jumping up the order. As they are coming around, just looking on other cars out there, Steve Parker and Michael DeGore out on track with possibilities for improvements as well. Hummels goes across the line in to finish 10th in qualifying. Tim Neubauer was improved by a lot there, but loses it all into the penultimate corner. Coming around the final corner, now he dropped enough time that he will not improve. But Michael DeGore is still with a potential shot of doing so, and currently up a little bit through the some of the final corners. 2 corners to go, or 1 braking zone to go, and 2 corners after that. Well, there are 2 brake zones. This one, and then you dab the brakes for the next one as well. Important braking zones. You can win and lose a lot of time there. DeGore through the final corner. Currently 3rd in the AM category. Onto the start-finish straight, he does look to be improving by quite a bit. Will be enough for second. Yes, just about enough to go second in the AM category and into 15th position for the first race this evening for Mr. Michael DeGore there. Good tight qualifying. Pascal Weeder breaks it at the end to snatch the pole position. So let me give you a little guide through the grid where the drivers line up. Row 1 will have both the silver and the AM pole positions, with Pascal Weeder lining up in 1st and Glenn Finnerman 2nd. Phil Baracci in 3rd, Luke Wilson in 4th. Not the best of qualifyings for Wilson this season for him. But once again, the Lexus might be good and bad. It's very track dependent and bob dependent. Row 3 will be Bonjours and Blisters. The Porsche and Lambo, followed by Chris Haas and Jesse Van Dalen in row 4. Row 5 will see 2nd placed in the AM category, Vladimir with Daniel Hummels next to him. 11th and 12th position would be Wouter Vince and Frank Hupp. Tim Neubauer takes 13th, just ahead of Cohen Geens. 15th and 16th will be 3rd and 4th in AM this evening. Michael DeGore and Ian van der Linden. David Gallant, apparently fan favorite out there in YouTube, in 17th with Blisma next to him in 18th. Craig Hill and Franz van der Linden rounds out the top 20. With Weymans and Spooner, the remaining 2 drivers in rookie behind him. 23rd and 24th, 2 last drivers in the grid, 2 teammates in Steve Parker and Peter Brooklyn. That will be all 24 drivers out there for this evening of races. Guys, I'll just go grab something to drink so my throat won't die through the race. A quick toilet break and stuff like that, and then I will be ready in about 5 minutes when they have finished the formation lap. Yes, I know this is perfect timing for everyone out there, but that's why you tune into this. Enjoy a little bit of relax yourself before I will be speaking non-stop for the next hour or so in not that long. Anyways, bye guys for now. I'll be right back in 3 minutes roughly. I got back right in time for the formation lap. Very quickly grabbing the headset, and we are rolling. Second to last time the drivers will be rolling out this season, led by Pascal Vida in his Sim Racing Holland Lamborghini. His teammates will be cheering him on out there, of course, and so will the many Lambo enjoyers as well. Great support for Wilson as well. Out there, he will probably be a crowned champion after this first round of the sprints tonight. He won't need many points to secure it. I don't have it up on my screen right now, but I can quickly find to just make a quick calculation on how many points he will need to secure it. If you give me just a second. He will need 1 point. He basically just needs to, well, not retire the car, and he will be crowned champion after this round, as then it will be mathematically impossible for anyone to catch up to him. So he might have that in the back of his mind, starting down in 5th position. But we'll see what happens. Fans of blisters as well out there, maybe. No, that was Wilson saying P4 Uke, but actually 5th. So we will see what he will do. Questionable setup choices apparently for Wilson. Not the thing that we want to hear from him, but again 1 point, and he's mathematically crowned champion this evening. So not that difficult to secure, but with still the 2 sprint races to go, he will definitely want to finish the season on a strong, as only him and Phil Baracci have won races so far this season. Wilson the only one to win the main races. Phil Baracci came in round 2 of the sprints at the Red Bull Ring. We obviously have the sprint race after, or well, the reverse sprint race after this one tonight. First race will be 20 minutes long. The next one I believe is 40 or 45. I can't remember honestly from the top of my head. 45, I'm told. We are still getting used to that format of racing. Phil Baracci leading the way. Maybe Wilson is actually in 4th. It does look like that he's lining up in 4th on the grid. 1, 2, 3. Oh, he is lining up in 5th. Well, why is there not a... Why is there no one next to Pascal Vida? As we are racing, ladies and gentlemen, for the final time for a race like this. Wilson with a great launch there off the line. Already up into 2nd there on the outside line into turn 1. Snatching a few positions there, trying it on the outside of Pascal Vida as well, but falls into 2nd. Great start from him. But Sure's not the greatest of launches, as he drops into 5th position, as he's side by side still with the other Aston Martin of Glenn Finema, who also dropped in the initial start of this race. Oh, that's not even Finema. That's Monsieur's. Oh no, it's not Monsieur, so he was split up, but there was a little bit of contact there. Slight contact again from Phil Baracci on another car of the Porsche of Vladimir. He really dropped a bit there, Phil Baracci, in the start, down into 9th position for him. Whoa! Big launch up there. I think that was who was it? That was the Gore championship leader in the AM category, missing the brakes there completely at the back straight. Drops very far back. Up in the front, Monsieur's in 4th position still, giving chase to Glenn Finema. I keep getting that Porsche confused with Aston Martin for some reason. But that is a Porsche of Huber Motorsport there, Alexander Monsieur's. In 4th, he'll lead the run onto the start finish straight behind Glenn Finema, the AM leader, all the way up into 3rd after starting from pole position. Doing a good, from 2nd position, of course, as Pascal Vida, of course, was the pole sitter, who just snatched it there with a few minutes to go of qualifying. Right, whoop, getting a little bit of a slide on there from Bonjour's, losing all the momentum that he had. Good help there from the French driver. Though this means that Chris Haas will be coming up to him from behind. And Van Drijl behind him. Van Drijl, the only one who almost have beaten Luke Wilson so far this season on track. Looked very strong on Spa track that Van Drijl seems to be a little bit of a specialist on. As I do seem to remember that Van Drijl actually doing quite well there a few seasons ago as well. Vladimir in the AM getting onto the grass there, getting a little bit iffy on the exit as he's taking a train behind him with Phil Baracci and Hummel and Hub, and wins in this long train, looking for Vladimir to make another one of these mistakes. As the cars come flying by, I saw Daniel Hummel in 10th position in the Fortune Honda Racing car. Whoop, that's a half spin there, or well, a full spin from Vladimir. That was the mistake from Vladimir. That's a big unfortunate mistake for him as he's dropping way down the field. That was the DDS car of Cohen Geens, I think, that just went through. And that's Frans van der Linden coming up as well. He's down into 22nd, probably 23rd, as they'll be heading into the first corner of this lap. As Frans van der Linden seems to be just backing off a little bit there. As Vladimir misses the braking completely into turn 1 and gets overtaken by Francorchamps. Only Tim Neibauer behind him at the minute, jumping up into 40. Ooh, no, let's just see what happens here. Vladimir a little bit too over-aggressive there on Francorchamps. No, sorry, on Frans van der Linden, as he takes out Frans van der Linden basically there in turn 3. And not a great race from van der Linden either. But jumping up to 14th in the race, David Gallant still under pressure from Max Spooner. Though it is a result that he'll need this. He needs to win this race, and well, he could just, if he wins both of them, then he will tie for first, and I think he'll have the tiebreaker on win. So if he just wins out, then he's doing what he needs to do to be the rookie champion. And this is definitely the class with the most excitement championship-wise at the minute. But Max Spooner giving the chase. He will try and deny Gallant the opportunity to decide anything himself this evening if Spooner can get through with his Lexus. As Luke Wilson and the other Lexus have gone for the fastest lap in the race. But a good gap this time around from David Gallant, half a second already. Jesse Van Drijl under severe pressure from Patrick Blisters. Up in the battle that'll be for 5th position. Oh, sorry, Van Drijl is applying the pressure on Chris Haas up in this position. For 4th it is Chris Haas in the Audi. We have seen a lot of Chris Haas this season, as he seems to be getting some very good qualifying compared to how that Audi drives in the race. Van Drijl in the VD Racing. McLaren, as he gets a bit of a slide on there. It's a Tokyo Drift this evening for the drivers at Indianapolis. The track where everything seems to happen at the minute. Both the last time we did endurance was around this mighty racetrack. The Tier 1 race last week, of course, and the Indianapolis 500 in the weekend. This does seem to be the epicenter of motorsports at the minute, as we round off the month of May with this great event. Van Drijl still, he seems to be a little bit quicker than Chris Haas, but it's just finding a way to get through another car. Can be very difficult if you don't have the top speed to do it on a straight. As Van Drijl will try to tuck in behind the Audi, he will need a bit of a set from this distance into turn 1. If he will try for it here, I don't think he will, though. He is getting the toe down the long main straight. Overtaking the background, it looks like, as Bonjour's at least showed himself there quite a bit on the inside of Patrick Blisters. Oh, now I clicked on something again. I shouldn't have my hand on the mouse when we are doing these races. Van Dryle way up there. There's not much daylight between Chris Haas's bump and rear wang of that Audi and Jesse Van Dryle's front splitter. On board with Jesse Van Dryle on the hood of the McLaren. As we can see, just showing himself in the side mirrors there of the Audi coming down the back straight. Through the tricky weight transfer corners in the midfield of the track. Getting a reasonable run there, does Van Dryle on Chris Haas a little bit better out of those corners, but not close enough for the move into the hard braking zone here. Does take a slightly sharper line through than Chris Haas. It's a matter of driving style and preference there. Reasonable line through the final corner, but was it enough to keep it full throttle through? It looks like it, as he is tucked right into the slipstream this time around. He could potentially go for the move into turn 1, as Wilson is also making progress on Pascal Vida in the front, but Van Dryle into turn 1, no, not close enough, but he does manage to tap the rear end there of Chris Haas. Does Jesse Van Dryle. A little bit unfortunate there, as a miscalculation in braking under the slipstream, as the car doesn't brake as good when you're tucked in and doesn't have the help of the aerodynamics on the wings. But this have put Van Dryle immediately under pressure from Bonjours for the battle for 4th position in the race. Chris Haas definitely wasn't happy with that situation there, but he is still going in the 333 machine. The 65 are into the garage already for reasons that probably a really bad start. Bonjours goes to the inside there and just manages to sneak through, but not enough, as Jesse Van Dryle gets the cut back. And look at that, that's Phil Maracci now getting the move done on Bonjours, but can he keep it on the outside? Doesn't look like it, as Bonjours just have enough to decline Phil Maracci there. Patrick Blisters coming up right behind these guys in the Dodge liveried car, or Dodge flag liveried car I should say. It could be French as well, but I do believe it's Dodge for Blisters. Bonjours leading the small train, as I think that Luke Wilson is currently right, or trying a move for first in the race as well, coming into turn 1. As they are very close up there between him and Vida, but now Bulgaris or Bonjours under pressure. No, Wilson haven't made the move yet, but he is very close to doing so. As we can follow Wilson and Vida in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, Lexus and Ferrari, with the Porsche of Bonjours, with the Aston of Phil Baracci, and the other Lambo of Patrick Blisters up in the top left corner, trying to catch back up to Jesse Van Dryle there. Luke Wilson tucked in for the back straight, shows himself on the inside, but not enough there for the overtake. But does force Vida onto a little bit of an alternate line then, defensive through the tricky weight transfer corners. Whoop, contact there from Phil Baracci, Bonjours and Blisters. Evasive action from Francorchamps that promotes him up into to a good points paying position there. Ooh, not the best of regiant stuff from Bonjours, but he does manage to make it work, as Luke Wilson have made the move in the bottom right hand as well, to take the lead of the race onto Pascal Vida into the hard braking zone of the third to final corner on the track. Luke Wilson takes the lead of the race. Chris Haas into this now very large battle pack that looks to be forming behind Francorchamps for well, 7th, but I think that for 7th maybe Phil Baracci involved in that battle pack as well. But Luke Wilson back into his usual position of leading the races, though he doesn't seem to have that large pace that he could potentially go and do the same in the reverse grid race in about 8 minutes. Or well, after this race there'll be some a little bit of a break before that, but yeah, Wilson does do a good job, but not super outpacing the competition this time around. Chris Haas in the Gasol Motorsports car. He was up there before the contact earlier on in the race. Still with a very good potential chance of grabbing a good few points, as there are many cars in very close contention just up ahead of him here at Indianapolis. The Audi does have a rumor to be a little bit of a difficult car to control, though I haven't driven the Evo 2 version of the car as much as the Evo 1, which was a difficult one. I think the Evo 2 is a little bit better. I have done a few races with it, but it's been a while, and it does seem quite a bit more stable than the Evo 1. But Chris Haas doing a good job. That car right up behind Francorchamps, who is onto a season high 7th position in the BMW. It haven't been the best of seasons for him, as he finished, I believe, 4th last season with his Lamborghini, but trying something new this season with the front-engine BMW that thrust him right into the midfield or mid-pack of this championship. He is close enough up there for it. Further down the order, I think that's Patrick Blisters we are seeing there behind the behind David Gallant. I don't think Gallant will be defending this too hard, as Gallant knows that they are not in the same category of classes, and Gallant doesn't need to be ahead of Blisters. He just needs to be ahead of Max Spooner and Sylv Waymans. And that is what Gallant is doing at the minute, being ahead of those guys. But again, they are all racing drivers, so I wouldn't be too surprised if Gallant decides to defend it. Francorchamps losing out there to Chris Haas almost through the hairpin. Not the greatest of lines there from him, but he does get a stop there on the apex, denying Chris Haas the super run onto the back straight. But Haas still on the inside of Francorchamps there, and Chris Haas goes for the outside move through the corner on the back straight there, and just backs out of it, or does he, into the tricky corner part C with all the weight transfer. Haas does seem to be losing out quite a bit there, but Francorchamps doesn't get the best of lines as Chris Haas goes through, and I think that's bound to win as well in the M&M's liveried car behind. And look at that, another car seems to be getting the look onto to Hop there. I think that's Digore, but he couldn't get it done. Digore there, but Hop with very bad exit onto the start-finish straight. So this could be an opportunity for Michael Digore to catch up to him. Just one small mistake, and all the pressure comes to you. It is Craig Hill in the back end of this train as well, in the other BMW, in another BMW. Well, it is the other BMW in this race. I think there are only 2 of them racing. Maybe David Gallant is considering just keeping Blisters behind, as this does mean that there'll be a car between him and his initial competition for the rookie class, Max Spooner. In the bottom right hand picture there, it's Patrick Blisters giving chase to David Gallant. But top left is where it seems to be happening. 4 cars like pearls on a line, on a straight line, sort of speak up there. Not the easiest track to actually get the moves done because of the way that the corners are laid out. There are some good long straights where you can use the slipstream. But onto the start-finish straight, you do need somewhat good tires to keep the throttle fully planted through the final corner if you're in the tow of another car. And the back straight, it is quite easy to get the defense on there, leading onto the back straight. But then again, it is with Patrick Blisters goes through David Gallant in the bottom right-hand corner as he is up into, that will be 12th position for him, which means that Max Spooner now can see directly up into the rear end of David Gallant, but big gap between those drivers. Francorchamps disappears there. It looks like Michael Digore goes through. Looks like Francorchamps might have had a little bit of a disconnect there, as he was just pulling out of the line, and then Digore all of a sudden was through. A bit of a shock there, technical issues for the BMW of Francorchamps. not what he would have wanted here in the final proper qualified grid race of the season. But 3 minutes until race 2, so you can still rejoin for that one, Francorchamps, but he will start from the back of the grid alongside Luke Wilson for that one. Steve Parker, another guy that we haven't spoken that much about yet in this race, even though that he have been on for some moves here at the back end of the field. He is right in between Max Spooner and Sel Waymans, the two rookie drivers who currently leads the rookie championship, but won't be that secure after this event. Parker could potentially be looking for the move on Spooner if he just gets a little bit of a run on him at some point, but it is difficult to overtake the Lexus as Sel Waymans there goes for a big launch up the inside of Mantis to get that car stopped. Steve Parker being very aware they're pulling away from the apex, but seems to be moved on for Waymans as he makes a little bit of contact there with Steve Parker out of the penultimate corner as they sort of got glued together. And Tim Neibauer goes up into 15th position. And Tim Neibauer, of course, one of the drivers that we're used to seeing in endurance up there near the front of the fields, or at least have been for some seasons with the Red Rocket team, or the Team Rocket. They have moved away from the Red Rocket due to the South Park joke, I think. Or maybe I'm just that old that I do remember these two references from way back when. But yeah, Steve Parker nevertheless 17th with Sel Waymans ahead of him, and Tim Neibauer now. This have given Spooner a bit of a gap down to Waymans for the rookie P2 at the minute. As we see the Belgium driver here, Belgium Racing team name is on the car. Good in-game custom livery on that one as well. Very creative with the colors, showing off the Belgian flag. Francorchamps confirms that it was a game crash that caused him to retire from this race. Still with a chance to get in for race 2 for Francorchamps, though he will need to do it from the back of the field. He's actually in the race server now. P20 a few laps down, of course. Having to leave the game, come back into it. Final lap the drivers will go on to for the first race of the evening when they cross the start-finish line. And this is exciting news for Luke Wilson, as he will be crowned champion after this singular race. And Glenn Finnemar will take the lead of the AMs as well. No, it will actually be a dead tie coming into the final round of the AMs if this holds between Michael DeGore and Glenn Finnemar, which will be a super exciting final race for these drivers. Finnemar could be very potentially clever, just dropping a few positions to just be ahead of Michael, or be closer to Michael DeGore for the second round. But I think that Finnemar is a race driver and he will want best possible results for both races. As Spooner gets pressured further up ahead by Blishma, it looks like. But Blishma denies, or Spooner denies quite easily there. Across the line goes Luke Wilson to take the win here in the main race of the evening. With that would be Pascal Vida in second, Jesse Van Dijl in fourth, and Finnemar of course in third, and winning the silvers and equaling out the gap that DeGore had before this race. It will be very close between those Van Dijl, Hummel, Filippo, Haas, Vince, DeGore, Craig Hill, Patrick Blisters, David Gallant in 12th, reducing the gap to Max Spooner and Sel Waymans there in the rookie class. Blisma 14th, Neibauer 15th, Waymans 16th, Parker 17th, Bonjours all the way down in 18th after a troublesome race for him. Ian van der Linden 19th, Vladimir 20th, Cohen Geens 21st, Peter Brooklyn 22nd, Francorchamps 23rd, and France van der Linden in 24th position. I think the Francorchamps and van der Linden will end up last in the reverse grid race, and they will have Luke Wilson directly ahead of them. As here in the break, we can talk a little bit about what's coming up here in SSRI as we go into off-season of the sprints. There'll be the Traction Thursday Cup that starts here this upcoming Thursday. Interesting series there with mixed GT3s and GT4s. We know that many people are busy on their Thursday evenings, but if you're not busy on your Thursday evenings, doesn't matter how good you are of a driver, what skill level you're on, then this would be a great opportunity to go do some racing, the multi-class racing format of GT3s and GT4s that have been quite successful in the 2.4 series previously. There are still room on the grid for drivers to sign up for the Traction Thursday events. So if you're interested in joining us for that, then go on to thesimgrid.com, go to or search SSRI, click on the Sim Racing International page on the SimGrid, and then go down to onto races, and then you can find all the races that we are running in the foreseeable future and the races of past. But Traction Thursdays will be the one that you're looking for. There are 25 registrations already, so it is filling up nicely for this Thursday Cup. Of course, we'll be seeing people like David Galland and Pascal Vida, Bas van Melis even in the Milan Dumas, and a good mix of GT3s and GT4s at the minute, and a good opportunity for drivers to get a feel of the racing between the two GT splits of the sprints, as there'll only be the one tier, of course, in Traction Thursdays, and that will surely be something that you don't want to miss out on if you like motor racing. But that is coming up this Thursday with for round 1 of that championship. You can still go and sign up. They will go racing on Silverstone in the first one. I think there'll be a night race, a wet race, a dry race, and I don't know what the 4th round of the season will be, but it's a very good racing and good tracks for racing. Silverstone, Watkins Glen, Kyalami, and then finishing out with the Nürburgring at the end. So that is something to look forward to, of course. Big congrats in the chat for Luke Wilson, who is now champion of Tier 2 and the Silver Drivers, with an almost as dominant season this time around as Mr. Prixley had last season out in his mighty Nissan there. But a good job for the Lexus driver, and once again a Japanese manufacturer takes a crown in Tier 2. Points tie in the AM category coming into the final round of the season. And David Galland getting closer to the... oh, well, he still can't decide himself, Galland. I'm sorry about that. I missed out on this completely. But he's getting very close to the top of the rookie drivers, as he is currently just... what would that be? Gaining 4... Then his... No, then he could decided himself actually still being... That would be gained. What, like... No, yeah, he just needs to win, and then it will not even be a tie break if he wins it at the end there, because Max Spooner finished in 2nd. Then it will be... if David Galland... It'll basically be the driver winning the rookie class as well, will take the rookie championship between those 3 drivers, and big congrats still to Wilson there. So everything to play for on the rookies and the AMs. In the silvers, I do think Chris Haas, he's not mathematically secured in a 2nd, but he is still very close to it, even though he had not the greatest of results here in round 1 of the evening of race 1 of the evening. The maps on that I will have to leave to more professionals, as I didn't get it written down before the race and I did notes on it, which I probably should have done in hindsight. But yeah, a lot of things to look forward to in the reverse grid race. The battle between Michael De Gore and Glenn Finema in the two Aston Martins of the AM drivers. I can't believe it comes down to the final round with a points tie to the final race of the season for the AM drivers. This will surely be one for the memory books. Same for the rookie class. That will be a historic final race. First season of the rookies, and they haven't disappointed at all with the new class of those drivers. Really done a good job of that, as winner takes all basically in that class coming into the final round. There are no pit stops on race 2. Is there? No, there will be no pit stop on the rules. It says no, but for some yeah, on the Red Bull ring we did have the issue there that there all of the sudden was a mandatory stop in the race, but that should have been fixed for this evening of racing. So there should be no mandatory pit stops for the race, if I'm not mistaken. Well, there shouldn't be any mandatory pit stops, but you never know what the admins come up to of fun ideas last minute. Although last time was a technical error, a glitch in the matrix, sort of say. So yeah, there shouldn't be any pit stops here coming into this one. And still people on the server of race 1, they need to leave. It's Mansuas and Steve Parker. And people are joining it as well. Just give me a second. But yeah, it will be surely a great final race of the season. People who are not tuning in for this one, they are definitely missing out on all the fun and action that you could have ever wanted from a sim racing event. As this one is super tough and super rough for the drivers. I know that there are a lot of people out there who definitely probably should have tuned in for the race. And those who haven't, they should definitely have shame upon themselves for missing it. Everyone in the SSRI community should be in here supporting their favorite drivers of the second tier, at least. Even if you're in the first tier, then you might want to get a good look of the competition getting into your tier next season. It will surely be a final to remember. A lot of people need to do a lot of overtaking. Remember, when you're starting in a reverse grid race, then the fastest drivers from behind, they will have to go through the entirety of the field to move up. Was a little bit chaotic on the Red Bull ring, as there was a big difference in the race or in race pace there, but doesn't seem to be the same case here on Indianapolis, so it will be surely an interesting one. And the server should be up now for all the people out there who wants to get in. Of course, for the drivers who are listening on the broadcast, even though you shouldn't be listening to the broadcast, you should be focusing on getting ready to drive. Doing this reverse grid race 23 on. Only one more driver needs to get on the server. I think that was 24 for the first race. I do think that we got up to a great grid of 24 in that one. And no, Nicholas, it's not you, or was there only the 23? There was 24 in the first race. I'm not just seeing any kinds of ghosts out there, and good to see you, Stefan, out there. And no, it is not you, Niklas. Niklas is not here. It's Luke, not Niklas. I'm Luke, and coming now to server live. Maybe Chris Hill is getting a good is telling me something in the background. Maybe Luke is not Mr. Luke Wilson. Maybe he's actually Luke Skywalker and has just been using the Force all season, getting that Lexus into top positions. I think that is very, very likely that that's what happened here, and that's very plausible since Lexus is not supposed to be winning anything. But good to see nevertheless. But again, I can see Stefan have finally joined in here, and if you haven't noticed, Stefan, then both for the AIMs and the rookies, it will basically be a winner takes all situation for the final round here of the SSRI GT3 Tier 2 Championship. Push to force. Yes, that's a button that we all wanted on our wheel. Glenn Finneman, Michael DeGauray in Chris owes my newborn daughter a pizza, by the way. No, he owes you pizza, Stefan. I don't think you should be giving your newborn pizza this early. But then again, not my problem. It's all up to you, of course. But yeah, DeGauray and Glenn Finneman, the two drivers that can snatch it in the AM category. Points shared coming into this final race. It literally is winner takes all for the rookies. All three rookie drivers who showed up for this race have a chance of winning basically what each of the drivers needs to do to become the champion of the rookies, the first rookie champion. Are basically just win the race, and then it will all be settled on track. It seems to be a very interesting final round. There are two-way tie in the aims and three possible winners of the rookies that basically just needs well, with all three drivers who can decide the championship themselves and see who becomes champion. That's of course David Gallant, Max Spooner, and Sel Waymans. Pineapple pizza? No, don't put pineapple on the pizza, please. Although a good Hawaii doesn't, I don't mind that, but in general, no pineapple. God damn it. Although pineapple on ham is, of course, a classic. And I'm just asking Chris Hill in the background, even though you can't hear him there. Pineapple on pizza, Chris. Chris says that he would prefer not to have the pineapple on the pizza. With those exact words. But he does say that other things would go great on pizza, including weird fish. Hawaiian pizza is good. No, he says that that anchovies also doesn't belong on pizza. Yeah, Hawaiian pizza, I can dig that as well, but not my preferred pizza of choice. I'd rather have pineapple on pizza. Says Mr. Stefan Hoffman Arvidsson, which is not his full name. If we had to pronounce Stefan's or say Stefan's full name, then we would literally be here for the entirety of the Tier 2 race, just getting all the names down as it stands at the minute. So I believe we are getting very, very close to the final round. Well, the final race of the sprint championship. But then again, with 5 minutes on the clock, then now is the time to go for your toilet breaks out there. I will join myself now. Stefan just putting it there. Yeah, after merge. Yes, Stefan Krumler, Rønner, Hoffman, Arvidsson. I thought it was longer, Stefan. Maybe it's just because I'm usually drunk to remember, but yes. I'll leave you with the great sound of silence. just before the race once again. But I'll be right back for the start of the race as always. We are back. Well, Luke, we know your next race is starting later in the evening. Technically, you could ditch this one and still be the champion, as you are mathematically secured at this point. But good champions always stay to take the victory lap, of course, in the final round. As we are getting quite close to race start, just a minute left until we go on to the formation lap. Remember, it's reverse grid of race one. Yeah, is what I tried to say. Of all of those that actually managed to finish the race, I can give you a quick rundown of the grid before we start, and they go on to the formation lap, which I'll probably be doing as I'm speaking. But nevertheless, Peter Brooklyn starts in pole position with Cohen Geens next to him. Vladimir, who had an awful race one, will be looking for a chance to redeem himself here in race two. From third on the grid, Iron van der Linden in fourth. Bonjour's in fifth, also not with the greatest of races in race one. He can redeem himself as well this time around. Steve Parker in sixth. Then we go on to the important position. Seventh are the first placed of the rookie cars. Sel Waymans, Tim Neibauer, eighth, ninth, Wouter Blitzman, Max Spooner, second of the AM drivers in 10th, with David Gallant third of the AMs right behind him. Those three AM drivers directly competing for the championship. Patrick Blisters 12th, Craig Hill in 13th, Michael DeGore, important to keep a note of where he is in the race later on for the AM category in 4th. And we are back after a short commercial break in the middle of speaking. But you get the gist of the grid basically, is what I'm trying to say, as we are following around on the formation lap. With Brooklyn leading the way in his mighty Audi liveried DDS McLaren. He will be trying to snatch this one from pole position. A tough job trying to get that done with a lot of drivers behind, really wanting to overtake him. But let's see how long Peter Brooklyn can hold out in the lead, and whether or not that he can manage to take the win here in race 2 this evening. The McLaren 7 seem to be the strongest around here, but they are doing a splendid job. At least they are very drivable, but not the quickest around the circuit, as they are lining up side by side as we are speaking. You can see the full grid of 23 or 4 cars there behind us. Or 24 cars, there should be 24. Yeah, 24 is just because we can only see 23 on the timing screen, which is a bit of shame that we can't see all of them, but that's how it is on ACC. Unfortunately, or well, fortunately for us, we do have racing, so this is all we get coming around the final corner, the long run, the long wait before the lights go green, and for the final time this season, ladies and gentlemen, the 5 red lights are on, and we are very shortly about to be
green light, go, go, go.
Racing! Good start from Vladimir there, and third in the Porsche. He jumped straight up into the lead. Didn't last long for the 2 McLarens up there. Bonsuas also trying to look for the outside there. Brooklyn, a little bit of misbraking into turn 1. He does manage to get it stopped nicely going through the corner. It is Vladimir, and then Bugaris, who seems to be coming up behind. Big crash further down the field. That's Max Spooner. That's one of the contenders for the AM, or the rookie category, that's already off the track, but he still have a chance to climb back through it. David Gallant still on the track. This could come down to championship. David Gallant also manages to get contact there with the Aston Martin behind him, but both of those guys seem to survive that nicely. There, Gallant driving a bit to Sil Waymans, who's way up there ahead of him. Waymans with a way better start than Gallant. Cohen Geens and big contact up with the front runners. That's finally Cohen Geens and Vincent and Berglund, who's gone off there in a big crash. It seems like into on the back straight. Cohen Geens is still in it up there near the front. That's the Lexus of Spooner. No, that's Luke Wilson on the outside of him. Wilson having a great start once again, just like he did on the Red Bull Ring, gaining so many positions in the start, already up to 8th position. Can he really win 2 races this evening and be the second driver to do so for overall in these sprint races? No, a long way up to the front, and with 2 good drivers up there battling it out. 2 Porsches side by side of Vladimir and Bonsuas into turn 1. As Bonsuas takes the lead of the race, Vladimir dropping to 2nd, but still Sil Waymans in 3rd. He'll be trying to keep up with that and keeping the position of rookie leader, as he will take the championship by doing so. And down there, Wilson just passed Hummel in the background and have moved himself up into 7th position. And he has a good look on the drivers up ahead of him. A little bit of a gap though, but he's definitely a man who can clutch this one. As Finnemer is still way ahead of Digore. Digore not with the greatest start, down in 21st position, as he sees the AM championship slowly crumbling away underneath him. But anything can happen in a race like this, of course. The 2 Audis close to each other on track of Tim Neibauer and Chris Haas. As Wilson is already onto the back of this the small train of cars, and he looks for the move there on blisters. It looks like already up into 6th position there for Luke Wilson. Great start from Luke here in race 2. Really getting it on there. Neibauer and Haas, they could be a little bit of roadblock for Luke Wilson in the race if they keep battling it out. Haas showing himself on the inside of Neubauer, but not enough to get the move done. Wilson right behind them as a little bit of a mistake there from Blisters that allows Hummel to go through up into to 7th. Now whoop! Overtake there on Sil Waymans. Out of the blue that seemed to come as Waymans gets in between the two Audis and Luke Wilson. And Wilson goes to the inside of Waymans there. Waymans knows that the only ones he have to beat are David Gallant and Max Spooner to be champion of the rookies. So he's definitely having that consideration, not taking any chances there with the traffic. But Gallant not too far behind Waymans at this point. Hummels goes through Waymans as well. Waymans leaving the door wide open there for Hummel to go into. And then it will be Blister's next car up behind there. Wilson trying for the first of the Audis, but not managing to get the better of Tim Neubauer there. Tim Neubauer, of course, a very experienced driver in the SSRI community. But Luke Wilson just seems to be flying through the field as he goes through Neubauer. And moves himself up into 4th position after just 5 minutes of racing, starting from near the back of the field from 22nd to 4th in 5 minutes. That's quite the achievement there from Luke Wilson. Who, if he stays for next season, will be promoted to Tier 1, where he will definitely find some new competition and some much tougher challenges of getting it hooked up as nicely as he have done here in the 2nd tier. Bonjour's leading the way. Quite the gap to Vladimir in 2nd and Chris Haas in 3rd. But how long that Haas can keep that 3rd, we'll have to wait and see. Jesse van Dijl in a bit of an action situation here with that's the BMW of Craig Hill ahead of him and the BMW of Francorchamps behind as he goes through Hill. As Hill doesn't get the best of runs there through the 3rd corner of the track into the hairpin we go. And Francorchamps looks for the move as well on his BMW teammate of Craig Hill. With Fountain Wins behind, we do see Wins trying to show himself, and he definitely wants to get this move done. Spooner almost checked out of the race completely. Quite the distance from him and up to the other of the rookie drivers. Spooner had a good run earlier in the season and led the rookie class for quite a while. But it doesn't always go like that you can keep it going on with the momentum. Francorchamps under severe pressure from Mountain Vince behind. Through the penultimate corner, it does look like that Frank just delays the front enough there for Vince not to be able to get on it as early as he might have wanted, or didn't have the optimal line out of that. You see the BMW pulling away ever so slightly on the main straight. Coming into turn 1, as we can see, a little bit of a traffic jam up ahead of Mountain Vince. This is how it looks from the perspective of a McLaren driver. Now we jump out to the helicam once again, as they all really close, following in behind each other through the first couple of corners. That's a McLaren going a little bit wide there. I think that's the McLaren of Gallant, maybe Wilson on the move for 3rd. On Chris Haas further up the field. I think that's actually Steve Parker in that McLaren, who is not moving that quickly ahead of them. Yeah, Gallant is way ahead of these drivers. But yeah, that's Parker that becomes the train driver now with Vince as the caboose of the train. Yes, that's a word that only trained people knows. As Luke Wilson moves up into to 3rd position, getting the move done on Chris Haas there. Seems to be the corner that Wilson prefers, getting the overtakes in there, the 3rd to final corner on the track. He does have a little bit of a gap up to Vladimir and Bonjour's in front, as Vince this time does seem to have the much better run. On Francorchamps, we have seen that BMW being very strong there, but Hub having to release the throttle to keep the car under control and keep it on track there through the final corner. Vince not happy about that, as he had to take action onto that as well. As both of these guys lost a bit of time there to Craig Hill. Vince could potentially have had the move if Frank had hooked that final corner, but it is difficult when you get a too wide line out of the penultimate corner. As Craig Hill trying a little bit on the attacking and defensive at the same time with Steve Parker ahead of him. And no, that's actually Jesse Van Grail there, who have fallen down to the clutches of these drivers. And not Parker. Parker got through Van Grail there. That's a little bit surprising to see Van Grail back here at this stage of the race. Nevertheless, the battling is still very, very tense between Wouter Vince and Frank Hub. This could come down to the wire. 35 minutes to go, 10 minutes into this final race of the season. As Gallant seems to be losing a little bit of time there to Waymans for the Rookie Championship. As we're seeing that, a little bit of a crash up here with Phil Baracci, who have gone off the track in the third final corner, but right back onto the racing for him as well. This has been a great season of racing so far, action-packed from start to finish. Van Grail now back on Steve Parker down the front straight. Craig Hill also getting the run on Parker here. Can he manage to sneak through as well? He does try to look for the inside. How does Parker position the car? It does look like that Craig Hill just decides not to go for the move there, but gets immediately put under pressure from Frank Hub, who is also under pressure from Wouter Vince, and soon Max Spooner as well. If they keep battling like this, then they'll allow Spooner to connect to the train, as well as Frank Hub on the inside of Craig Hill. The two BMWs side by side. He does manage to get the move done, it seems, there, Frank Hub, but no, doesn't have the run. But this leaves Wouter Vince with the opportunity to make it free wide. Almost looks like that Vince backs out of it a little bit there, lifting to not make a super dangerous situation, as they're still side by side, the two BMWs. And Frank Hub all of a sudden going from the attack to defense, as it often goes in these train driving situations. Frank van der Linden off at the end of the back straight on the track. Maybe another disconnect from him, it does seem like it. Very unfortunate day at the office for France there. Wouter Vince just finding the room in between Spooner and Hill as he spins Hill around. And that's De Gore who connects to the back of the train now. Vince getting Craig Hill spun there a little bit. Michael De Gore needs to pick up the pace as well if he wants to catch up to Finnerma and take the lead of the AM class. But Max Spooner now on the attack of Wouter Vince. Spooner knows that he doesn't have time to hang about here on this end of the field. Either same goes for Max Spooner. Both of these drivers will have to make almost as a sort of similar inroads in the field if they can work together to get up there. It would probably be great for them, but difficult for these drivers, of course, to do so. As Pascal Vida is right behind these drivers, pole setter of race 1. Not the greatest start of Vida either to this final round, but he will be connecting as well to this train. Yeah, Phil Baracci, after his spin, recovered to 13th position and puts Blitzmer under immediate pressure with Iron van der Linden right behind. But what can Phil Baracci do to retake some positions in this race? Whoa! Late on the brakes there from Iron van der Linden in the background. But he does get the car stopped and avoiding any other cars on the track. Luke Wilson on the move for second position, getting the move done on Vladimir. Now it's only Bonjour that stands in the way of him and taking a double win. We saw it last week for the Tier 1 drivers as well, a double winner in both race 1 and race 2 of these sprint events. First time that ever happened for overall wins there, and Luke Wilson can be the first driver to do so in Tier 2. As he also didn't get someone close in the sprint at the Red Bull Ring. Phil Bonacci still putting the pressure on Blitzman. Blitzman not the easiest driver to get through, as he goes very wide there and gives Phil Bonacci a lot of very free time. Now it's all about getting the run onto the back straight. But that's the difficult part when you try to overtake a car that's on such offset line. You'll have much more speed into the corner, but it does look like that Phil Bonacci gets it done on the outside of Blitzman. Blitzman is forced very narrow there. Good aware driving from Phil Bonacci to get that move set up. And Van der Linden and Jesse Van Dryle also in this train. Van Dryle have come right back up to the train ahead of him, after being down with Parker, Vince and that train a little bit earlier on in the race. As Van Dryle will be the next driver to try it on Iron Van der Linden in the beautifully Golf livery car. Ooh, that's bound to Vince, who have spun for reasons into the third to final corner of the track. Could have been a contact involved there. Steve Parker also dropping positions. Coming right down with him there. Could have been something between those drivers. I think Chris Hill's on it on the background, trying to figure out what happened to Vince there. But Iron Van der Linden trying to defend hard from Jesse Van Dryle. Luke Wilson still have 4 seconds to catch up to Bonjours in the lead of the race. And Bonjours is not an easy feat to catch up to. Quick driver as well. Differences in the McLaren and Ferrari could be the deciding factor between these two in this battle. Down the back straight we go. Half an hour to go of the season. Iron Van der Linden and Jesse Van Dryle. There nothing between them there into the back straight. Here's a replay of what happened to Bouncer Vince. Maybe he manages to spin it out himself. That is Parker behind. No, Parker late on the brakes, tries to avoid Vince there, but there's a wall in the way of avoiding Vince in the situation. But he does do the right thing of trying to get out of that one. Does Steve Parker there. And usually the best thing to do are to go the other way of the opposite way of which way the corner is turning that's coming up. But unfortunate for Parker and mostly for Vince, the wall was there and the contact was made, and that will put a spanner in there. Good work so far this race. Van der Linden manages to keep Van Dryle behind. I said too soon, apparently, as Jesse Van Dryle goes through into turn 1 and takes 14th position as Iron Van der Linden gets dropped to 15th. Iron Van der Linden have had a little bit of an up and down season so far. I feel like he was in good contention for AM for a long time in the season. At least we talked a bit about him earlier on in the season. But didn't manage to drop out of proper contention there. Still up in the top 5, I believe, of that championship. But yeah, that's how it goes. Patrick Blisters on Sil Waymans. We saw this in race 1 as well. As Sil there was thinking a bit about the championship. It looked like him. I wonder if he'll do the same this time around. He does have quite the gap down to David Gallant behind, who is trying to get through Finnerman, who's trying to get through Cohen Geens for 9th. And Geens have 5.8 seconds up to these two drivers. So at the moment, Waymans is quite secure in the rookie championship. Glenn Finnerman here on the move for Cohen Geens, and Finnerman goes through. David Gallant no longer immediately behind those two drivers, as Finnerman does manage to get the move to stick. It looks like, oh, close to contact there, but good driving through the first corner. Blisters not managing to get through Sil Waymans there, as David Gallant and Phil Baracci have caught up to the back of Cohen Geens as well. But still in the very, very Belgium-looking Aston Martin, doing quite the job there, and if he can just maintain the position, he will be crowned champion, first rookie champion ever of SSRI history. It is funny how there was quite a few drivers in the championship earlier in the season, but many have dropped out as whoa, that was Phil Baracci sending it there on David Gallant in the top left screen. Getting a little bit in the way of Gallant's chances there. I hope he didn't take too much damage there, David Gallant, as he is still on the big offensive driving here to catch up to Sil Waymans, who is under extreme pressure from Patrick Blisters. I don't think Sil was too happy about that one. Might be saying a few words there in English or Canadian English, maybe even French. Don't know which part of Canada Gallant is from, but he definitely can't be too happy with that. Sil still under the pressure from Blisters behind. In 11th, but not too far off of Tim Neibauer. They've actually been catching a little bit up to Tim Neibauer, even though that they are battling. Maybe Tim have had a slide off. The 35 car of Max Spooner have had a big mistake there onto the start-finish straight. That looks like that his championship dreams are over there from the third placed car in the rookie championship, or the rookie category in this race, as he might have taken the a contact with the wall there from Spooner. Blisters this time very close in the tail of Waymans, as Chris Haas also in a bit of a battle here. Vladimir directly ahead of him, and that's Daniel Hummels behind. Vida into the pits and retiring from the race, it looks like. He might have been involved in something. There goes Spooner into the pits as well. Very unfortunate day from Max Spooner there, which means there are only two contenders left in the rookie championship, being Sil Waymans and David Gallant. Frustrating day on the office for Max Spooner in the Lexus, as Chris Haas looks somewhat clear in the same for Sil Waymans, but these camera angles have played a little bit of a trick on us before, when they come in braking into the first corner. That gets very tightly packed once again, as Waymans still having I don't think that Waymans is doing anything particular to drive defensively there against Blisters, as Blisters also seems to be doing everything he can to get an overtake done on Waymans. I just think Waymans is minding his own business and driving his own lines, focusing on keeping the car on the track. Steve Parker to the pits as well. Pascal Vida completely out. Craig Hill as well, as Blisters there goes around. Must have been something happening further down the field, as Hill and Parker also retires from the race, it looks like, as Patrick Blisters joins them in the pit lane. This seems to be the lap of retirement. Unlucky 13 for a lot of drivers, it seems like. Which leaves the battle of Chris Haas, Vladimir and Hummels as the closest one on track at the minute. With the Lamborghini, the Porsche and the Audi, of course, the three cars and three different manufacturers. Luke Wilson cut about a second and a half on Bonjours in the last 8 minutes. If he keeps up with this, then he will be in a striking distance in with about 5 minutes to go of the race. So we'll see if he manages to get that done, as Haas seems to be under severe pressure, but doing a good job in the Audi in the race so far. Remember, Vladimir doesn't necessarily need to defend these drivers. Of course, he's on the overall podium at the minute, but he's also leading the AM category in this race. So not the most important thing in the world to keep these guys behind. As Chris Haas just catches a splitter of grass there, which means that he doesn't get the best of runs down the back straight, and Daniel Hummel comes. Daniel Hummel, don't know why I put the S on the Fortune Honda racing car driver's name. But it is what it is. Daniel Hummel putting the pressure on Chris Haas. They are getting very close to each other, which leaves Vladimir with a bit of room to mind his own business further up and not having to think of attacks there from Haas, as Haas goes very deep into the third to final corner around the circuit, which means that Daniel Hummel will have a good opportunity down the start-finish straight. Can Haas keep the foot planted through the final corner from that angle? Yes, he can. It does look like that he actually did get the run on Hummel there, as Hummel haven't closed the gap that much, and now they're coming down the start-finish straight. Slipstream advantage for Daniel Hummel into turn 1. We go not close enough for the move this time around for the Lamborghini driver. Remember, both the Lambo and Audi have equal engines and same steering wheel, as well as they're both from the same larger concern of car brands owned by the same mother company. Lambo and Audi here. As Vladimir in the Porsche ahead, also within the same group of cars there, company of cars. Getting somewhat within the reach of these two guys. So Hummel now flashing his lights, sending it on the outside of Chris Haas. Will he get that to stick? It's a difficult way to get the overtake done, but no, not this time around for Daniel Hummel on Chris Haas. Looks like that Hummel is getting a little bit impatient and wanting to get this move done, as he wants a shot of overtaking Vladimir for overall third class and third in the race. With just 20 minutes to go of the season, as we go on to the 16th lap of the race. Wilson getting closer and closer to Bonjour's up in the front. We are keeping a little bit of a side eye on that to see when he gets up there for the potential move. This Hummel just, it doesn't seem to have the speed down the straight. He doesn't seem to get the good enough exits coming out the corners leading onto the straights to really be a big threat to Chris Haas at the minute. But he just needs Haas to make that one tiny mistake when he's close enough. Like this one, Haas takes a very different line to Hummel through the hairpin. It does seem like a Hummel's line are quicker through there, as Hummel this time gets a reasonable run, but I don't think he's quite close enough to Chris Haas down the back straight to actually get this move done. And does it? No, not even close. So Haas just focusing on his own driving, it seems like, with Hummel giving chase behind. Third to final corner this lap, as a big decreased gap between Bonjour's and Wilson in the lead that time around. Still nowhere to go for Hummel in this battle. He just doesn't seem to be able to pick the way through Chris Haas up there. Finneman also closing the gap to Sel Waymans at the minute, and Cohen Geens as well. So Gallant's chances are still in this race, as they have caught up a little bit there over the last couple of laps. But I don't think it's quite enough. He will need a little bit more pace, David Gallant, there to catch up to Sel for the championship. Speaking of Gallant, here we see him in the frame. with Jesse Van Dryle coming up behind as well, and Van Dryle could be looking for the overtake, as well as Van Dryle does seem to have caught up a bit over the last couple of laps, but Gallant will want that to get done in a way where he loses as little time as possible, maybe try to stay close to Van Dryle and sneak through Cohen Gaines when Van Dryle catches up to him. The two McLaren drivers there onto the back straight. Gallant not with the greatest of runs there. This could be the opportunity for Van Dryle as he looks to the inside there of Gallant. He will try the move and gets it done as Gallant leaves him plenty of room on the inside. Now having Phil Bardati behind, who we saw giving a little bit of a love tap to Gallant early on in the race. So that could be a thing to look out for later on. Daniel Hummel still behind Chris Haas. Nothing have really changed up here. It's still status quo between the Lambo and Audi drivers as they go on to the 18th lap of the race. 15 minutes to go. They seem to be a little bit equal, the three cars here battling it out for third, as Wilson is now within the second of Bonjour's up ahead. Actually very much within a second over the last split as he goes for the move on the outside for the lead on Bonjour's down the back straight. Bonjour's doesn't really fight it too much, or he does come back up the inside there. Overshoots the braking but gets it stopped on the apex, which leaves it for Wilson on the what then became the outside of the upcoming corner. Bonjour's could try the cutback. He does try for it there and gets the run on Luke Wilson. Not that many times this season we have seen unsuccessful overtaking attempts from Wilson, as Bonjour's defends the lead very well of the race. Side by side through the third to final corner, Bonjour's cuts him off there. Good battling for the lead of the race at the minute onto the start-finish straight. Wilson with a slightly better line there into the slipstream of the Porsche. We know that Lexus have a mighty top speed once it gets going and into the slipstream. Bonjour's there lifting off on the straight. Don't know if he cut the grass or something there, but it did look very strange, the speed loss that Bonjour's got. So Luke Wilson takes the lead of the race and looks to become a double race winner on the same evening. This time Hummel have the run on Chris Haas. He goes on the outside of Haas into turn 1. Haas defending it but leaving the room. Very generous driving there. Through turn 2, little bit of argy-bargy, still side by side. Haas on the inside of Hummel. Haas seems to keep the position there, gets it nicely defended. Hummel could get the final switch back on there through turn 3 into the hairpin we go. Haas and Hummel goes a little bit deep there as well. If Hummel could have kept it on the inside, it could have kept Haas out of the optimum line through. Haas gets a little bit of slide there. This time Hummel could have the run down the back straight. Will Hummel go left? Will he go right? He goes right initially. Will he cut over to the left before the braking? No, tries the outside move on Chris Haas. Outside becomes inside for the next one, remember, but he doesn't seem to be willing to risk the car going up the inside there, but this time he does. Little bit of a contact there, putting Haas into a spin, and Hummel goes through, but with contact, Hummel is now up into 4th position. Haas might be racing behind him within that Audi car. But he didn't get passed by Neibauer there, so Haas didn't lose too much on that one. As Sil also have caught up to Tim Neibauer up ahead of him, right behind Tim Neibauer from Team Rocket in the frame now. He's looking up to Chris Haas. Chris Haas just needs to gather it up once again and then get on with the racing to maintain that 5th position of the race. But this is what it comes down to. Sil Waymans, he can't afford to make too risky overtaking attempts. He can't afford to risk the car. I wonder if Neibauer is aware of this, and the same for Finnemer behind still. And that could be a dangerous situation between the two. championship leaders of AM and Rookie. Fun thing is the Rookie is head of the AM at the minute, but if they are too careful with each other and leave each other enough room continuously, that could become an issue, and that's where crashes could happen, both in Aston Martins as well. Of course, Finema would prefer to go through Sil at the minute, but I think that Finema is well aware of his championship situation and how that looks. So if he will just keep behind Sil, or if he will attempt the move, we'll have to wait and see, as Gallant have been overtaken by Phil Baracci as well further down. But Finema gets very close up behind of Sil there. Maybe Sil will be kind to him, just let him through, but I don't think so initially, unless if Finema sins, then I think that Sil Waymans, he knows what to do, and he does there. It's very aware driving of Sil Waymans. He knows what's on the line, not taking any risks with anything. Still big gap from Sil Waymans down to David Gallant. It's about like 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds-ish, 6 seconds gap with 10 minutes to go of the race. It will be very, very difficult for David Gallant to catch up. David Gallant will need a few drivers to catch Waymans and lose Waymans a bit of time in the overtaking for it to be a good day for David Gallant at this point. But he have taken the racing very on there. Down in the back end of the field, Vauntevins and Peter Brooklyn, the two pole sitters of this event, in their DDS cars, close together on track. The M&M car and the Outlaren, maybe we should call it, Audi McLaren livery. The two yellow cars battling it out there, but both of them going close to white there, and Vauntevins even getting 2 wheels onto the grass, with Michael De Goray behind them. De Goray, obviously the guy who could have snatched the win of the AM Championship, and it is still possible for him if Finema gets involved in an accident that puts him behind Michael De Goray. As they are the two drivers competing for that championship at the minute, but doesn't look too good for De Goray at this point. I know the feeling when you come into a final round of the season and you have a chance for this and something doesn't go your way. It is very disheartening, but you just keep going and hope that something happens to the driver up ahead. Try and focus on getting your laps in and staying consistent, and if you are very lucky, and then your competitor will get unlucky. But of course, it is what it is, and Michael De Goray can look back on the season as having a good season overall. I think he will be secure enough in second, maybe not actually, as Vladimir could potentially go through with the results here tonight, but he can be very pleased with a good season at least. Michael De Goray been in the fight all the way through, and yeah, unfortunate way it had to end, but kept it going all the way through, and good job from Michael De Goray. Can be happy enough about it. Taking a championship into the final round is always a big achievement, and he managed to do so this time around. But that's how it goes in motor racing from time to time. It seems that David Gallant have dropped off completely pace-wise. Maybe he have worn out the tires of the McLaren up there, but he is definitely falling back at the minute to Sil Waymans, as he's probably also getting the realization at this point that he needs outside intervention to help him get this championship. But I do believe that he will finish second, keeping this home, as Max Spooner have retired from the race, and therefore will not score any points at all. From the second one there, Finema goes through Tim Neibauer. Turn 1 overtake from Glenn Finema there on Tim Neibauer, as he can at this point, somewhat large gap up, it will be somewhat reasonable for Finnemer just to take a little bit of a chill if he can get the gap, but still Wayman's under pressure, still no sight of Gallant in the background there when we go through the corners. But still Wayman's under pressure now from Cohen Geens. Or have he managed to overtake Geens recently? I actually think that he managed to get through Geens at some point, but Van Dryle behind could be the driver to put a stick into that. There we can see the green car in the background, that's David Gallant. And that's the gap between the green car back there and then the Belgium looking Aston Martin in the middle of this train. That's the difference of being first and second in the championship for the rookies. So far it have really come down to the final round between these drivers. But still finding himself in this pressured situation. He knows if he drops behind all of the cars in this train, then it's getting very close between him and Gallant all of the sudden. But as long as he can stay ahead of the train, there'll be no risk for him with just 5.5 minutes to go of the season. As we are following Cohen Geens of DDS Racing, the FedEx Lyric car, I wonder if he'll deliver any packages or deliver anything to P8 in this race, or if he, or if it's only the 9th place that gets delivery from him tonight. Maybe even further down if Van Dryle managed to send it on the courier ahead of him. Yeah, postal jokes not that funny to be honest, but we're trying. I know that Chris Hill is saying that he's laughing in the background, but honestly I can't hear it, and silent laughs are what it is. Driver of the day, Hummel 18 to 4th. I would say he have done a good job as well. Up there, potentially could go into third, Daniel Hummel, if he's very close to Vladimir at the minute, so that could be a good shout out for that. Of course, Wilson from 22nd to 1st could also be a shout out, but that's at this point almost expected of Wilson to do these performances. But yeah, Hummel have done a good race here, and he did so on the reverse grid race on the Red Bull Ring as well. We did see both the Fortune Honda drivers there, right up there at points of the race, and yeah, Daniel Hummel in a good position could claim a podium here in the final race of the season if he could get an overtake to stick on Vladimir. But that is not where the action is happening at the minute. We are still following Sil Waymans, who potentially still could lose out on the rookie championship if something goes wrong, if any of these drivers behind manages to overtake. We know that both Phil Barachi and Van Dryle behind are very, very quick drivers, but they will have to negotiate themselves and Cohen Geens before they get to try it on Sil with just 3.5 minutes to go of the race. Daniel Hummel in the bottom right hand screen using the flashes there to Vladimir. We have seen him trying the flashes before. Needs to be a little bit careful with that, Daniel Hummel, but he does seem to have a little bit more speed than the Porsche ahead of him. We have seen him catch up as he goes forward almost there, a little bit of just offset lines, and there we go. Daniel Hummel into third position as Vladimir gets a little bit spooked by Hummel's line and goes wide through that corner. Will Vladimir try and re-send it into the third to final corner? Not at all, as Vladimir is currently leading the AM category, and Van Dryle and Phil Barachi added as well in the top left-hand screen, or left-hand part of the screen. But Daniel Hummel into third position and onto the podium here in the final round of the season. He have done a great development during the season, Daniel Hummel, so far. But Van Dryle will now be the driver that could go into focus, as he's defending from Phil Barachi behind for the final spot in the top 10. Both super quick drivers. Remember, Phil Barachi, the only other driver than Luke Wilson to win a race this season, and Vladimir gets immediately put under pressure by Chris Haas as well, as Vladimir could drop 2 positions in the final couple of laps here if he's not careful. We have this lap and 1 more lap of racing for you guys this season of SSRI GT3 Tier 2 racing. And it seems to be an exciting one, as Haas will try it on Vladimir at some point. Surely he will attempt to get the move through. Vladimir going very... No, I thought we were one corner further up the road. But yeah, somewhat defensive line there from Vladimir, but Chris Haas is not even remotely close enough to try the move into that corner as we go into the third to final corner of the track. Only one more shot down the start-finish straight for Chris Haas on Vladimir, but he doesn't need it as Vladimir makes a slight mistake there, and Haas goes through into 5th position. Vladimir's race crushes at the end. Did do a good job early on in the race and kept it going for a long time. As Luke Wilson are on the final lap of the race, of the season, of the championship. The already crowned champion will just cement a dominant championship run. The only time he didn't stand on the podium was the reverse grid race at the Red Bull Ring, where he finished 4th. Besides that 4th position, you have seen nothing but the top step of the podium, Luke Wilson. Superb season from the Lexus driver, and he will be looking forward to challenging the Tier 1 guys next season. Hopefully he will bring the Lexus onto the Tier 1 as well. We did see a Lexus in round 1 this season of Tier 1, of course, by the Untalented Motorsports team. But work scheduling came in the way of that car continuing the run. But Luke Wilson, just 3 corners to go of the season for him as he goes through the final couple of corners. Sil Wayman still defending his 8th position, which is a top result for him in a race like this. And championship race season-wise for Sil Wayman's there. But Luke Wilson, 1 more corner to go of the season before the fireworks can light up his evening. And Night Sky, we know that he's busy getting on to another race directly after this one. But Luke Wilson wins the 2nd race this evening. 2nd time this evening he does take a race win. Good drive from Luke Wilson, now champion of the Silvers. But sure, 2nd contact there from Waymans. This could cost Waymans the rookie championship with just 3 corners to go. There comes David Gallant. Gallant takes it with 3 corners to go of the championship. Heartbreak for Sil Waymans as David Gallant will become champion of the rookies. What a way to finish the season for these drivers. Very unfortunate situation there, but David Gallant takes it with just a few corners to go. He kept them there and kept his hopes up. Looked to be very unfortunate. Sil Waymans can't believe himself and what happened to him as he comes in claiming 12th in the race, but only enough for 2nd in the championship for Sil Waymans. Losing it with literally corners to go, a few 100 meters of the championship, and that's how it all ends for Waymans there. Very unfortunate as Glenn Finnemer, of course, takes the semi-pros with DeGore not managing to get through the Francorchamps with big damage on his car. Maybe Chris is very quick and we can see a replay of what happened to Sil Waymans. No, we can't. I'm being told as soon as the race is over, it is over. Wow, what a crazy finish to the season. Probably one of the better season finales that we ever saw. Superb drive there from Luke Wilson, and heartbreaking end for Sil Waymans in the rookie championship. Let's see if anyone will come in for interviews. She will just give them a few minutes as we reflect on this crazy evening of racing. And the heartbreak super driving from Luke Wilson. First time, oh well, not the first time this season, but first time in a long time this season. Don't think that since Spa that we have seen Wilson off of the first row of the grid. But race 1, no issues there, taking the lead very quickly off the race and then just controlling it from the front. Race 2 from him, yeah, going through the field. Of course I want to see Wilson start at some point and how he managed to get that done. Here we have the replay of what happened. Looks like Constantinas Van Dryle went into the back of Cohen Geens and then got pushed into Sil Waymans, who just had that second spin in the grass. He got too early on the throttle there. Of course, if he would have managed to rejoin the track, there would just, of course, an incident with Gallen, and that would have been even worse for these two drivers there. But that is a rough way to end the season. But then again, good drive from David Gallant, who came in clutch here at Indianapolis. He won race 1 for the rookies, which put him into a situation where he could take the championship, as we actually joined by David Gallant. Congratulations, David, as I believe you are champion of the rookies. There were a bit of a crazy end to the season with Sil unfortunately getting taken out there in the with just 3 corners to go.
Is that what happened? I didn't see it. I just saw him in the dirt there, and he was trying to get out in front of me too. I could see it. He just spun again. That's terrible.
It is, but 2 race wins this evening. You came in clutch as you needed to, winning race 1 and then getting the win here in race 2 as well. Good season overall for you and the first rookie champion of SSRI.
Well, you think that secured it, eh? Well, yeah, pretty sweet, man. It was my first championship go, so feel pretty awesome.
Yeah, I could imagine next season you obviously won't be in the rookie championship after winning it this time around, but how do you feel about it? We have seen you being competitive with a lot of the AM drivers over the course of the season. Do you reckon that you'll come back next season and maybe try for some podiums up there?
Definitely, most definitely. I can't say enough about this SSRI group, man. It's just you guys do a good job throughout the whole races, and just had a blast. Looking forward to them.
We at least we try our best at least to get it done. There are the first day cup coming up, the traction first days. I think I have seen you on the entry list there.
Yeah, I talked me and a buddy into it, so we're joining up.
Oh, cool. Which cars are you going for there?
I'm getting a Mustang out there.
Oh, nice, nice. You know, if I was to sign up for the traction first days, which is still my consideration, to be honest, as I'm a little bit busy on first days, but I could maybe squeeze it. I would probably go for the Mustang as well, just the sound of that car.
Yeah, it's my new favorite for sure, man. It's just a lot of fun to drive.
Oh yes, as we'll be joined by Sil Waymans as well. Sil heartbreaking into the season as the championship got lost with just 3 corners to go there. It looks like that Van Dryle got too close to Cohen Geens, and he then pushed into Geens that pushed into you.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know what they were doing. It's like, yeah, it's pretty disappointing.
Yeah, I can imagine. You had the race basically under control. Looked like that you were doing a no-risk sort of race here in race 2, and just letting people go that wasn't in your championship, and playing it safe right up until the end when all chaos came out.
Yeah, I hope to be a little bit more competitive into race 1, but my qualifying was completely shit. So yeah, I started in front in race 2, which was to my advantage, and then I just tried to control the gap, and I was managing everything very well, and basically had the race in the pocket until a couple of corners till the end.
Yeah,
like Seal, man, that's terrible, buddy. I was ready to hand it over to you. I was like, man, he held the great race. I started making some mistakes at the end. I lost a bit of pace on you guys, and I was like, well, he's got it. Sorry, man.
Yeah, I mean, you deserve it though, but it's a bit stupid how it all happens like this.
Yeah, but so even though the championship got lost with 3 corners to go, a very strong season for you as well. We did see it going into the final round between you, Gallant, and Spooner as well, with all 3 of you basically able to decide it yourselves here at Indianapolis by virtue of winning the races. Been a very close fight between the 3 of you in the season. And in looking back on the season, how do you feel about it and how it all went?
I mean, it was good. It's a bit unfortunate. Me and David never really had a battle ourselves on track, but nevertheless, I had fun.
It often comes down to that in championships like this, when there's so many cars on the track, that you actually don't often get to see your championship competitors directly on the track. But next season might be way different for you guys, and you could potentially get to duke it out between you to get the race done. or maybe have a little bit of a session here after the race, going head to head on Indianapolis for the actual title.
Let's go.
and let us know if you do that, because we would be interested to sneak peeking it, of course. But no, a good long season for both of you. Of course, we don't know which tracks are on the schedule for next season, but we expect both of you to be promoted into the AM category for that one. Talk to David a little bit about it, and he thinks that he can do some damage, or at least he'll be trying to do some damage to the AM drivers next season and battle for some podiums. Do you reckon that you'll be up there as well, Sil?
I don't really think I'll be fighting for wins like I did here, but in this class I was also kinda midfield, so I think I will be in around the same position, hopefully.
We will surely see coming up to the final round, but this has been a top season. Any final words that you want to get out there before we round off the season?
I would like to thank my team. I recently joined a Belgian team called BRT, so I would like to thank them for the support. I think the last 3 races they watched with me, so I would like to thank them. And yeah, we're just having fun in the team, and it's just some great guys trying to drive good.
Yes, David, any final words for you before we round off the season?
Again, just thanks to you guys and, hosting all this championship, and still, that was great racing. It was tough. It was a tough championship all in all. And yeah, just thank you to my team there, Phosphine Racing. Let's go, Mitch. And my friends over there watching on YouTube. Woohoo!
Yeah, we have seen YouTube being some of the most supported drivers out there in the YouTube chat, but nevertheless, even next season, if you don't finish on the podiums, we hope to hear from you after the races as well, as we are rounding off a great season of racing here on SSRI. I have been Oliver Anderson, Mr. One of Oliver, and behind the cameras all season have been Chris Hill, or well, Grandpa Chris Hill, as we usually call him. What a season we have had, and I can only say we look forward to seeing you all next season, or even for the endurance in just a few weeks on Sanford, which I think is our next broadcasted event here on the channel.
Hey, Phil, you should join up Thursdays if you can.
What's going on Thursday?
Traction Thursday.
Traction Thursdays, David, we have tried to promote it all season, all the last 2 races.
Oh, oops, I've been super busy, so I think I missed that.
Yeah, it's another SSRI. It should be good.
Oh, right, I'll check it out.
Nevertheless, goddammit, Chris, cue the exit.